Hi, I'm James, Head of Horticulture for Frost Garden Centre. Today we're going to be talking about creating a wildlife garden. Why is it important to create a wildlife garden? I'm just going to go through some hints and tips and explain just a few things about why is it important. Basically, it's important to create, lots of blooms in the garden, to create lots of insects of interest, to help the bee population because they help pollinate, encourage butterflies. Also introduce new insects to the garden, which can help reduce insects on your plants, which are things like green fly, which they'll eat, like ladybirds, really important. Also as well, remember your birds, your toads, your frogs, all that kind of thing, which will help. The reason why we're doing all of this is to create a much healthier garden. What do I mean by a healthy garden? Just let nature do its thing, let it take over, let the insects help so you don't have to use pesticides, and just let the bees, pollinate more of the plants, and you'll get more of a healthier garden and more flowers. Just got a few samples here to show you. Got a really lovely salvia. Bees love this because they just go all the way around, and you can get from sort of 10, 15, 5, all different numbers of bees all on here. The echinacea is fantastic because they like to sit on the top and just sort of pollinate there. Dahlias, hardy dahlias, really good. Lupins, again, they like to be smothered all the way round. Really good on the foxgloves as well. Sedums, for when they come in the autumn, have masses of flower. The bees adore these. And then, forget-me-nots, again, really good. And obviously lavender, which bees absolutely adore. So now we're going to talk about which are the best flowers for the wildlife, for your bees, and which are the ones which are not as good as well. So I'm just going to give you a really easy example. So we've got an echinacea here, got a double flowering rose, and we've got a foxglove. So, reason why the rose isn't good, this type, not all roses, because a lot of them are more open, where this one is more double, so there's a lot more layers and it's more difficult for the bee to get inside and pollinate. Where you can see on the echinacea, it's open and it's flat, and they can land on top and then pollinate. And then with the foxglove, they like to go inside and it's much easier. They're the difference. This just to make it much simple so you can see out of the steps on the different types of flowers. Let it go wild, so maybe leave when you're mowing your lawn, leave a patch of the lawn for a natural meadow. Weed free for a week, encourage the daisies, the buttercups to help the bees. And also, leave a patch of stinging nettles because that helps create butterflies. They lay their eggs and will just help the population of the butterfly, which is really important. Now we're going to talk about climbers and why they're important for a wildlife garden. I've got a great example here, Pyracantha, really fantastic, an amazing scent, full of flower now. Bees absolutely adore it, you'll get masses. And another really important thing about climbers, and especially this one, in the autumn it has a berry, so it'll feed the birds. And also, any climbers, not just this one, birds will nest inside the climbers. Now we're going to talk about bug hotels. So whether you buy one or, even better, have fun with a family and build and create your own bug hotel in the garden. The questions I get often asked is, what materials do you use for your bug hotel? For example, I would use things like wood, bamboo, bricks, even stone, plastic bottles, hay, straw, and then, maybe do a drawing, a diagram, and just layer it and do different materials on each layer. And the thing with bamboo is you've got the holes for the bees to go in, and just leave little pockets for animals to go in and hibernate and create their home. And then that will make your masterpiece of your amazing bug hotel. Now we're going to talk about birds. Best things to feed them with, including plants, feeders, boxes for nesting. So just to show you some examples, you've got your different feeders, you know, from your peanut, Niger seed, seed mix, fat balls. So, I mean, a good tip is obviously if the birds haven't come within a couple of weeks, please keep them out there, because they need to know that they're there and they get used to and assess the area to make sure it's safe, and then they'll start coming through. Obviously, if it's been there for months, I would change it because it will go, you know, mouldy. And also I would look at bird boxes to encourage nesting for blue tits and various other sort of robins. And then also really important as well, I mean, this is an example, a Cotoneaster, but in the autumn this has a berry and it's a great food for birds. They love anything berry, from your pyracantha, which is a climber, especially if they're nesting in the climber, they've got the food near them. It's really important that we help the bird population by keeping up to date with regular feeding and also water. Just thinking about frogs, you want to create any low dishes of water. Even if you create something a bit larger, always remember to have a ramp so they can hop out. Talking about frogs, it leads me into creating a pond, or, you know, wildlife around the pond. So things you need to look at is, you know, things like your water lilies, oxygenating plants, which help clean the water, keep it fresh. If you're gonna put different types of pond plants, layer it with like bricks so you get different heights, make it more attractive and creative. And also think about plants around the edge of the pond, you know, things like your hostas, your ferns, astilbes have an amazing candy floss type flower. And then this will create a really nice natural wildlife garden as well, with some water, and again it's that calmness which you want in a garden. Remember, when you're creating your wildlife garden, just remember to create gaps at the bottom of your fence, gates, to allow, you know, things like hedgehogs through in and out of the garden. Hope you enjoyed the video of the wildlife garden. Just to give you some hints and tips on, you know, things, how to create your own natural garden. If you need any help or advice, please come down and see us. Many thanks.